40s to near 50. A rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Now is the right time to buy or sell your home. I'm Matt Madison with Madison & Company Realty. With high interest rates, low inventory, and a lot of people moving to our area, it makes people wonder. But we have the answers for you. Call us at Madison & Company Realty in Statesville to help you navigate the real estate market. 704-873-7700. Visit us online at MadisonandCompanyRealtyNC.com. Madison & Company Realty, we've got you covered.
Are you in constant pain, under constant stress? Just need a moment away? Repeat after me. Serenity Now Massage Therapy. SerenityNowMassageandWellness.com, with locations in Mooresville and Cornelius.
At Kane Center for the Arts, we believe art is for everyone. From our exciting performing arts series and gallery exhibits to robust education programs and impactful community initiatives, there's something for everyone. Visit kanearts.org.
This is Daniel.
And this is Marsha.
From NC Auto Repair. Keep that car running like new this new year by stopping by NC Auto Repair for all your automotive needs. We're now offering a customer loyalty program for your oil changes. If it's automotive related, we can handle it. Stop by and see us at 1015 Davie Avenue or call us at 980-223-2957. NC Auto Repair. And remember, if you want to go far, you've got to service that car.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Many of you probably know us from our large coffee house downtown, but did you know we're also the owners of Statesville's first and only coffee roasting facility? We purchase coffee beans from around the world, bring them right here to Statesville, roast them in our facility for our customers around the region. Why would you go to a grocery store, purchase old coffee beans off the shelf, or any other source where you can have fresh roasted beans at Lake Mountain Coffee, 131 West Broad Street in Statesville?
When you have problems with your heating system, you need SHA Mechanical. Serving the region since 1975, SHA will make sure your system always stays in the best condition. Visit SHA Mechanical online at shamechanical.com.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Nothing but the best talk.
The area's best talk.
WSIC. This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Joann Stores, the bankrupt fabric and crafts chain, is preparing to close more than half of its outlets. The retailer will shutter about 500 stores across the country. Joann made its latest Chapter 11 filing about a month ago. This is the company's second bankruptcy within a year. JCPenney is planning to close what it calls a handful of stores by the middle of this year. There is a closing list on Penney's website. It shows 8 stores, all in different states. Apple is looking for new TV Plus subscribers. People with Android devices can sign up for the streaming video service for the first time. Until now, the TV Plus app was reserved for Apple's own operating system and third-party platforms like Roku. And the big recruiting agency Randstad says hiring activity is muted and the market is challenging. Randstad's chief executive says clients don't have the confidence to take on more staff. Jeff Bellinger, Bloomberg Radio.
It ain't easy being number one.
But we make it look good.
WSIC.
They're back. More of Justin, Bill, and Mamie now. It's Good Morning LKN from WSIC. Local starts here.
Good morning, LKN. 7:34. Happy Thursday to you. Look, the last thing you want is to wake up one day and you go to click on either the furnace or the air and you say, wait a second, nothing's coming out of the vents. Why is nothing coming out of the vents? You need somebody you can call, who we recommend, Horne HVAC, Horne HVAC, hornehvac.com. That's Horne HVAC.com. Jason joins us this morning. He is the service team lead at Horne Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Are you a morning guy naturally, or do you have to like pep yourself up in the morning before you hit the road to go like on service calls?
I'm a morning guy by nature. big time bass fisherman, so I get up early.
Oh, yeah.
That is early mornings, yeah.
Is fishing better in the mornings or in the evenings? Because can't you do both or no?
You can, but it's better in my opinion, it's better in the morning.
Okay.
Are you one of those serious guys I see out in the wintertime on the lake?
Oh, yeah.
That's you? Oh, man, that's tough. But, yeah, you're a tough guy.
All right, Jason, as service team lead, talk to us about what that means. So you are, is it quality control for service, or what is it that you do, and how would you describe your day-to-day with Horne HVAC?
My day-to-day's kind of a mixed bag. You know, I help with the training. I help with the technical support with the technicians in the field. Also help with hiring. Just whatever they need me to do on a day-to-day. You know, it's never one day's the same. That's why I've kept coming back to HVAC for 25 years.
Now, the service, the continuous reviews we hear about Horne is that the service is top-notch. And so what it's caused is arguably a good problem. Horne is growing. I mean, you guys are getting more and more and more calls, more and more jobs to help, more homes to help service. But that means that you guys need more people to help. And so you guys have been actively looking for more service techs in the HVAC industry. So if someone came in and let's say they became a new service tech, would they be working with you on a lot of bases throughout their day-to-day?
Yeah, so they'll be working with me and TM, and we have another team lead, Tony. So you'll be working directly with us three. You know, just it's a pretty large onboarding process when you do come aboard, because we don't want to throw somebody in there and set them up for failure. We believe in setting somebody up for success. So you would come in and pretty much go through about 8 weeks of training, learning how to use our software, learning how to do our processes and our procedures, and it would make your day-to-day job much easier.
Now, Jason, if I walked in the door, let me tell you, I've got probably negative experience as it relates to working with any type of mechanical stuff. Would you guys hire me? Like, is that like, can I be like somebody who has zero experience whatsoever? Or are you looking for folks like you got to have some level of training before you come in the door?
Not necessarily. We do partner with some like Goodwill Industries, the Urban League, a couple other, you know, trade schools. That does help because those trade schools help the technicians get their universal EPA license so they can deal with the day-to-day refrigerants and things like that. So that does help. But you can come and do a ride along with me anytime you like.
There you go. Please don't let him touch anything. It's called a ride along. You just ride along.
Jason, what's this wire do?
No, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You mentioned the EPA standards. Refrigerant has been a conversation for quite some time. If I called you guys and said, "Hey, I need me some more R22," are you guys going to bring that out, or would I be kind of more so need to be looking at a new unit at this point? Would you say?
We'll be more than happy to bring it out. Just have to get your big boy pocketbook out because it's gotten extremely expensive and hard to get.
And so what is the standard? Now, give us the update. What is currently the status of refrigerant and it relates to mechanical and HVACs?
So, you know, refrigerants changed. They've went to different manufacturers. They've went to 2 different refrigerants. Some of your Trane, Lennox, some of those manufacturers have went to 454B, and then some others have went to a R32. So what's happening, they're worried about global warming potential, you know, just wanting the earth to be here for all of our kids. That's the biggest change. R32 it's been around for years. They've been using it overseas for years. So it's nothing new, nothing really going to change for the homeowner. It's just a change in the industry.
And so that deals with the unit itself and like basically the cooling refrigerant it can use, right, to produce the cold air. Is that kind of how that works? Okay. Do you guys have a preference, or do you guys say, hey, this is what we see as far as what the data shows us is to utilize between those 2 options? Does the homeowner even care most of the time? They just probably want cold air, if I had to guess.
Yeah, they don't seem to care that much. You know, we do want to do what's best for our homeowner. So if the new refrigerant's out there and readily available, that's probably what we need to be putting in.
I would imagine too, like it's one thing like the unit goes out. I know I need somebody, but if someone had their unit serviced, let's say regularly, does that help you think like with the process? Because then you're probably not surprised or things like that. How much do you guys emphasize servicing units, even if it's a brand new unit or only a couple years old?
So, I can't stress the importance of regular routine maintenance. And the way I talk about that to homeowners, because I try to break it down to where they understand and I don't get too technical, is you go buy a new BMW, you're not going to not take your BMW in to get it serviced. Heating and air conditioning is the most expensive appliance you're going to put in your home, bar none. Hopefully you don't have to do but a 2 in your lifetime, or maybe 3. If you're lucky, 4.
That means you live longer, not your unit.
Yeah. But, speaking on maintenance, we've got some customers. It's getting fewer now. Horne's been around for 40 years. We've got some customers that's got some 1989 model equipment. The reason that's been there for so long is just routine maintenance, keeping it clean. I think one study showed 1/10 of an inch, which is the thickness of a business card, affects the efficiency of a piece of equipment by 30%.
Wow.
So your power bills are going up and things like that. You may want to look at your air conditioner, how much dirt is on it. That's the number one failure in heating and air conditioning is dirt.
So would it be like monthly or annual, or how often do you recommend that somebody gets their unit serviced?
Twice a year.
Okay.
Once for your wintertime maintenance, then your spring maintenance, getting it ready for summer. I mean, the most aggravating thing in the world would be to have a cookout over at your house July the 4th, and then your air conditioner go out.
There's no worse feeling than walking into a hot or a cold house. Yeah.
Y'all got to stay outside.
Yep.
That's what I started saying.
Yeah. Those fans don't work in the North Carolina heat. You can't run a box fan and cool you off.
Jason, for those that might be looking for work, right? They might be service techs. Maybe they even have some experience, and maybe they like the idea of switching outfits because they want to find a good one, right? They want to work with people that enjoy their job, and it's tough work. You guys do real work. I'm not crawling in crawl spaces, climbing in attics, banging my head on framing and all that kind of stuff, and having to run all kinds of duct work and all kinds of things throughout the day, wiring, pulling through, dealing with people's cats when you leave the door open and stuff like that. I'm not dealing with that every single day. But you've been with Horne over 11 years now. Why Horne? What makes Horne so great of a place to work at?
I would say it starts with the two owners, John and Chris Horne. On a personal level, I've never found, two individuals that have, quite touched me in the way they have. They're just awesome people, down to earth. I would recommend everybody to come to work for those two. They're great people.
And you mentioned the training, because training has got to be continuous, I would imagine. Is that, would you say one of the highest priorities is to make sure that you as a service tech, the team of service techs, is in the know with what, the current industry standards are, processes, systems? I mean, how much emphasis is on training on people's day-to-day?
It's very heavy. So like I said, you come in, you got about an 8-week onboarding process. So you'll be with me, you'll be with Tim, Tony. Some of that classroom stuff may even consist with talking with Mr. Horne or Chris or John. And some of it's going to be just, those processes. I keep saying processes. Those are extremely important to us. And then you're going to get into the technical parts of it and, get out in the field with some of the actual technicians, whether it be me or Tony Herron or just some of our other technicians we have. We're blessed. The technicians we do have are great technicians.
HorneHVAC.com, HORNE HVAC.com.
Keep it right here. Justin, Bill, and Mamie will be right back with more Good Morning LKN on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, our rain finally moving out. Sunshine peeking out this afternoon. What a sight for sore eyes. It'll get windy, though. Wind gusts around 20 to 25 miles an hour. Temperatures climb up to around 60 to finish off our Thursday. We'll get cold tonight. Temperatures drop back down to around freezing. And heading into our Friday for Valentine's Day. Sunny and cold with highs in the upper 40s to near 50. Our rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Thursday, February 13th, Lake Norman Woman Magazine is hosting Ladies' Night at Bin 110 in Cornelius. The relaxing social evening begins at 6:30 p.m. Feel free to come make new friends, get to know your neighbors in the community, and possibly catch up with pals you have not seen in a while. Bin 110 hosts Ladies' Night this Thursday, brought to you by Lake Norman Woman Magazine. The Wine Maestro in Statesville has live music with Captain Dar on Friday. Captain Dar delivers entertainment with a capital E. With his acoustic music sets, it makes a perfect addition to your Valentine's Day plans. The Wine Maestro in Statesville presents live music on Friday night at 7 p.m. Mooresville Arts and Events welcomes you to join them for a date night like no other in the ballrooms of the Charles Mack Citizen Center on Friday and Saturday. Sigmund Theatrical's Murder Mystery Crew is back with Check-In for Murder. The action will unfold around you, with some guests even becoming characters inside of the story. It's a high-class evening of dinner, theater, and mystery. Visit statesvilleevents.com for tickets and information. Enjoy the Valentine's Day special at the Speedway Club at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Come celebrate with that someone special with a 3-course dinner or something off the regular menu. The Speedway Club Valentine's Special runs Thursday, February 13th through Saturday, February 15th. Then on Sunday, you can cheer on your favorite driver during the Great American Race at the Speedway Club Daytona 500 viewing party. Visit 704-455-3216 for Speedway Club reservations or visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Give us a call now at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Good Morning LKN on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning, LKN. 7:48. Happy Thursday. Thanks again to Jason of Horne Heating and Air Conditioning, HORNE-HVAC.com. Get that feeling of And if you're a service technician looking for a great company to work for, Horne Heating and Air Conditioning is hiring. I did want to mention, too as well, they have like a 4-day work week rotation, too, there at Horne, which is a phenomenal kind of perk there. Bill, don't give me that look right now. We aren't switching.
Yeah, I want to go. I'm about to go work for Horne.
Hey, we're going to go to space, though. We are going to do that.
Okay.
We're gonna head on out the door. We're going to go up there, and we're going to save the astronauts. That's what we need to do. NASA and SpaceX have accelerated the target launch and return dates for the upcoming crew rotation missions to and from the space station. This is from NASA Space Operations on X. The agency's Crew 10 launch now is targeting Wednesday, March 12th.
No.
Pending mission readiness and completion.
Does that mean that those 2 people that are still there have to stay till March 12th?
I think so.
Oh, no. They were supposed to get out in February.
I just don't know, like, what's been taking, like, why weren't we already in the works
not put enough gas in it or something?
Right, like, what's been the holdup? And are they really stuck and they're like, hey, this is super classified, you're not allowed to say you're stuck up there? Because, like, I feel like they would just, like, don't they have phones they could just, like, take to X?
They've been doing, like, Star Wars up there or something?
Save us!
Yeah. Gosh. Okay, so if you are the next one of these 4 in this next crew to go, they're like, yeah, 2 weeks. And you're like, nah, it's really going to be 6 to 8 months.
I mean, it's probably got to be part of the training, right? Like, there's one section of the training. Okay, now there's a 0.65% chance that you will be stuck up there for up to 14 years.
Right.
And this just happened to be that 0.6% chance.
But are you going on the next crew that's going to rescue them? And then 2 have to stay because they take 4, so 2 have to stay. And then 2 bring the other 2 back.
I'll bring the 2 back.
Are you? I mean, what are you doing? Are you doing rock, paper, scissors to see who has to stay?
I mean, I think it's always been planned that the next group would come in, right? Like, that's always been like a thing.
Yeah.
you would hope that if you're the next group, they're paying attention more, like the world is paying attention. Like,
hope.
You guys are going to be on time this time, right? We're not going to let this happen again.
You're not gonna get bus
are
left.
we? But, fool me once, shame on me.
That's me. I'd been like, I'll drop them off. I'm not hanging out waiting for the next ride.
Is it fool me twice?
Fool me once.
Okay.
Shame on you.
Shame on you or me? Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Okay, shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Fool me twice.
I don't know.
I thought you had it.
No, fool me twice, shame on me. No, it's the George Bush, though, clip is my favorite. That's usually I just go, fool me once. I don't know. That's kind of what he said.
You can't fool me again.
You can't fool me again. That's it.
Fool me once.
That's it.
Shame on you. Fool me
Fool me
again.
twice.
Twice. You can't fool me again.
Can't fool me again. I love that one. That's one of my favorite Bushisms.
Speaking of it, does he still own the Texas Rangers or no?
Part of it.
Part of it. Texas is getting that. We talked
Is
about
it him
this.
or his daddy?
Might be a combo.
It's not his daddy because his daddy's in heaven now.
The New York
My
Stock
daddy
Exchange.
owns the lake.
The New York Stock Exchange is launching an exchange in Texas. This wording is a little bit different. I thought that Texas was getting its own stock exchange.
That's what I thought too.
But it looks like, or maybe this is in addition. Again, I don't know. We're going to talk with Joshua Dobi, President and CEO of North Main Financial Group at 8:45. TXSE Group announced that it had filed for registration of the Texas Stock Exchange with the Security and Exchange Commission last month. And so is it the New York Stock Exchange is launching an exchange in Texas? That's the way I now read these in these headlines. So it's like New York is moving to Texas, and they're going to take all the stocks, or they're more stocks, different stocks.
So it looks
same
like,
stocks?
yeah. So I guess they were trying to start the Texas Stock Exchange, and New York was like, whoa, 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 we'll just franchise over here.
Because it's like the companies, like while they're on the New York Stock Exchange, they're like in Texas, I guess.
Yeah.
And it says here, this is over $3.7 trillion in the market value of New York Stock Exchange listed companies. Texas is where those companies are at. I mean, I imagine like you throw a company like Chevron, right? Those guys are all the oil guys got to be in Texas, right?
Yeah.
You would imagine.
So do you only have to pick Texas companies, or can it be anybody? You're just trading in Texas. Texas is its own country anyway. You know anybody from Texas? It's its own country.
Rob's from Texas.
Yeah.
I think that's the only person I know.
That's the only person you know?
Probably more people I know from Texas.
Texans love Texas. Like I love Lake Norman.
Like Mooresville loves
But
Mooresville.
times 10. Yeah. I mean, they love Texas. It is their own. They are their own country. So.
Fun fact, the New York Stock Exchange is part of the Intercontinental Exchange, which acquired the former Chicago Stock Exchange in 2018 and rebranded it as New York Stock Exchange Chicago. So, so this snip-snap of locations doesn't seem to be new.
No, it's not new. You think Texas is going to be cool with it? Do they have a choice?
I imagine that Texas gets a cut, right? Does New York get a cut, or they get some kind of economic activity
they get something from it. They're not just doing it
just
there. Yeah, they're not doing it for fun.
Just funsies. It's
No,
Tuesday.
it's not, no, they're not just doing it for fun. So yeah, they're getting some monies from it.
There's a lot of conversation too right now as far as companies moving where they're incorporated at, right? The whole stuff with Delaware, whenever it went down with Tesla and the bonus being paid to Elon, and then like a judge saying nah. Then the stockholders came back and voted again, and then a judge came and said nah again, and so then they moved to Texas instead of Delaware, a whole thing, and then there's other companies moving. I think Meta announced it moved. I don't know,
somewhere.
Its propaganda wing to Texas instead of California.
Yeah.
So a lot of that going on
A
right now.
lot of companies moving to Texas. And
it just seems hot and flat. That just seems what it
both.
like. If I had to guess about Texas,
you've not been?
Never been.
Hot and flat, yes.
Okay.
Both. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah.
Just seems like I
just
like a
remember
little bit of
being
hills.
in the hotels on like the 7th or 8th floor and looking and be like, I can see for like a million miles. I can see all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Like it was so flat.
Now they do have good barbecue, and by barbecue I mean brisket. That's just what I want.
Don't mess it up.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. I don't know, but eating all that brisket, I would probably have to run on a treadmill. Treadmills, though, surprisingly, you may have one sitting right in your bedroom, folded up, still, and haven't looked at it for 3 weeks.
It's got my clothes hanging on it.
It's not uncommon to be a clothes rack for some folks. It is good now, But believe it or not, treadmills used to not be a good thing. So this is kind of one of those like, hey, it was meant for evil, but we'll use it for good.
Okay.
But the origin story of treadmills, I mean, my goodness.
The first treadmills weren't for fitness, they were for punishment. Prisoners walked for hours, turning a giant wheel that ground corn or pumped water. It was endless, 10 hours a day, just to exhaust the inmates. Some even died from the effort. By the late 1800s, people realized it was too brutal, and the treadmill was banned from British prisons. But in the 1960s, it reappeared as exercise equipment. Today, millions walk on it voluntarily, unaware of its dark origins. The first treadmills
You
weren't
think we
for
would have learned our
fitness,
lesson the
they were
first
for
time? The treadmill is still evil, if you
It's
ask
still
me.
terrible.
It's still evil, if you ask me.
It is still torture. Yeah. You ever try to incline? It's not easy.
No, I go more for the clothes rack.
It's much better as a clothes rack, honestly. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to be hanging out with Graystone Lodge at 8:30. Gray, GraystoneLodge.com. We have to get our High Country Happening segment for the week. We told you about the giveaway that we were doing that you missed your chance on. It was for 2 tickets to the Murder Mystery Dinner Theater Show, which is tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, by the way. Bill, we still got to get
Yeah, y'all better
cards.
go run some errands after the
We got to
show.
run some errands today to get a card.
Pick up some breakfast.
Or something. Demi told me this morning, let's not exchange any kind of gifts. Not exchange any kind of gift. I said, and you know what I did? I smiled. I said, "Okay, babe, got it."
Signal, yeah, understood.
Signal.
Gotcha.
I'm picking up what you're putting
That
down,
means
babe.
buy you extra.
So
Double the gifts.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. It's here, and so if you aren't prepared, make sure you go by wherever you go by on your way home, because you really should be giving the gift in the morning, not in the evening.
Not in the evening.
That's
Okay.
my personal opinion. I leave it out, even if I can't do a bunch of interaction in the morning.
Right, because my house is dark and cold in the morning.
Correct. But so if I'm gone and then Demi gets up, you know what I mean? Hey, it's there.
It's still there?
It's there. I did what I needed to do, and then that way you know. But the other part of the giveaway was for Graystone Lodge.
That's right.
GRAY, GraystoneLodge.com, a 2-night stay. Beautiful boutique hotel located in Boone, North Carolina. You can get a standing 15% discount even though you didn't win the free 2-night stay.
Right.
You can always get 15% off. Download the WSIC News app available on iOS and Google Play. And the link on there is going to get you to the 15% off link for your stay at Graystone Lodge, so you can enjoy that. We're going to be chatting with Joshua Dobi, host of Dollars and Cents. It airs every Thursday here on WSIC. You can catch it live. You can catch it wherever you're watching watching videos across social media, wherever you listen to your podcast, and always available on demand on the WSIC News app. And he is got the inside. He knows what's going on in financial
pennies or
markets.
nickels. He knows which way to go.
He'll be able to advise us on will there eventually be a penny recycling center similar to cans and aluminum in other states?
Right.
Maybe that's the next trend is that we
Maybe.
just recycle the pennies.
Yeah, here we go.
The ones with green on them are the really good ones, right?
Oh, those are the expensive ones?
Is copper turns green, right? So if it's got
yes.
green, it's
I don't
likely
think they've
more.
made a penny out of copper in decades, like centuries.
They
not
just
centuries.
color it? Like just color it
It's
copper?
not copper. It's
red
just,
dye
yeah.
number 4
yeah,
plus
they use
yellow
that.
plus 3?
That's what we're going to do with all the extra red and yellow dye. They're just going to use it to color the monies.
We talked about a little bit before I mentioned you. So remember, it started with immigration, right? And then I told you education was going to, at some point, be a conversation. President Trump did certainly have some comments on the Department of Education. We're going to share those with you. Trump also brought up North Carolina again yesterday in his conversations. Keeps coming back to FEMA and dollars. So continuous conversation that the way the system works, dollars are going to flow to the states, it seems like, rather than just be held at the federal level. So figuring out, okay, if dollars come in, how then are they going to flow throughout the state? You got different people in control of different agencies. You got certain parties in power in certain places. How are we all going to get along and all this kind of stuff, and what's that process going to be like? Because I don't think anybody's interested in playing any games.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville, W264CU Statesville.
Pizza night just got an upgrade. Stop by Pomodoro's for fresh, authentic Italian eats that hit the spot every time. Dine in or take out because good food is always a good idea. Check out Pomodoros.com for details.
Services Secretary.
His beliefs and philosophies and conspiracies would hurt kids, hurt the health of American people.
But Minority Leader Chuck Schumer does not have the votes to block Kennedy. The Senate Judiciary Committee may also vote this morning to advance Kash Patel's nomination to be the FBI director. Democrats don't support him either. They also don't support Linda McMahon and get a chance to tell her that at a confirmation hearing to lead the Department of Education. And President Trump hopes she puts herself out of a job wanting to shut that department down.
Here's what McMahon is expected to say this morning at her hearing. If I am confirmed, the department will not stand idly by while Jewish students are attacked and discriminated against. It will stop forcing schools to let boys and men into female sports and spaces, and it will protect the rights of parents to direct the moral education of their children.
Fox's Doug Luzader. Hamas now saying it does plan to release more hostages from Gaza this weekend, days after suggesting it may not, which prompted Israel to warn the war could restart. President Trump had warned Hamas all hell could break out. And he also is pushing to end Russia's war in Ukraine as soon as possible.
That war is a disaster. It's a really bloody, horrible war.
After talking to Russian leader Vladimir Putin by phone, the president said they plan to meet soon. There was also a Trump call with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, who will meet tomorrow with Vice President Vance at a security conference in Munich, Germany, where there was an attack today. A man said to be an Afghan-seeking asylum seeker drove into a crowd of people at a demonstration, injuring at least 28 of them. President Trump's plan to slash the federal workforce is back on. A federal judge greenlighting the offer for employees to resign but be paid through September. Here's Fox's Chanley Painter.
The judge denied the union's request to permanently block the program because the unions were not directly impacted. And about 75,000 federal workers have accepted the buyout deal so far.
And that offer is now off the table. America's listening to Fox News.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 rising from payroll, platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
As the federal immigration raids continue and the Trump push for mass deportations of migrants here illegally who have committed crimes or security threats, there are sanctuary cities and states, though, not cooperating. And the Justice Department's already sued Illinois and Chicago, and now Attorney General Pam Bondi's filed a lawsuit against New York for blocking federal efforts.
New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
New York's Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul calls it a worthless, publicity-driven lawsuit that'll fail. And here's another immigration court case.
Colorado's largest public school district is suing the Department of Homeland Security to block federal immigration agents from making arrests at schools in the Denver metro area. Denver Public Schools became the first school district in the U.S. to sue over the Trump administration's policy of allowing ICE immigration agents into schools. The federal lawsuit claims the policy has forced schools to divert vital educational resources and caused attendance to plummet. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning, this is a big day, as he plans to announce reciprocal tariffs on countries charging the U.S. for exports. He's already planning next month to impose 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports to the U.S., and that is prompting this.
Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy says the company may have to put more emphasis on plastic bottles. Coca-Cola imports its aluminum cans from Canada, and the company would face increased cost if tariffs go into effect on March 12th, after a deadline was extended earlier this month. The president says the goal of the tariff is to increase U.S. aluminum production. Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures barely moving before another inflation update this hour. We'll find out wholesale prices last month. the day after the January Consumer Price Index showed inflation continuing to rise back up more than expected. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Well, our rain finally moving out. Sunshine peeking out this afternoon. What a sight for sore eyes. It'll get windy, though. Wind gusts around 20 to 25 miles an hour. Temperatures climb up to around 60 to finish off our Thursday. We'll get cold tonight. Temperatures drop back down to around freezing. And heading into our Friday for Valentine's Day. Sunny and cold with highs in the upper 40s to near 50. Our rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Inspire your team and gallop to greatness. Our horses at Willow Equine are outstanding at working with people on leadership and team building skills, perfect for corporate retreats. Visit willowequine.com as you gallop to greatness.
Brighten up your winter wardrobe at Mina's Boutique, a curated selection of affordable, on-trend fashion for all shapes and sizes. Located in downtown Cornelius, Mina's is your go-to spot for clothes and accessories that bring joy to every season. See you at Mina's.
Now, back to more of Good Morning LKN with Justin, Bill, and Mamie on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning, LKN. 8:06. Happy Thursday to you. If you're just hopping in the car, we are going to get a look at the streets. That'll happen about 8:15. We'll say hey to Jeff and ICATS. Ride ICATS.com. It's Thursday, so know that you can go to Winston-Salem for $1 from your front door. You just got to schedule that ride. Ride ICATS.com. Tonight's an exciting night.
It is an exciting night. It's Ladies' Night at Ben 110. Tonight's the night. So join us starting at 6:30 for Ladies' Night. But if you want to come a little earlier, 5:30, we'll be there with the Lake Norman Chamber for our official ribbon cutting.
So 5:30 to 6:30.
5:30 to 6:30.
Lake Norman Woman Magazine is having a ribbon cutting at Ben 110.
At Ben 110, yes. So we'll be there with Bill and everybody, all the great folks from the chamber and people from around the community come to support us for that official ribbon cutting. So if you don't know, just because you've been a business in the area for a long time, you can still join the chamber. It's not just for brand new businesses. It can be new ownership. It can be, because even if you've already been a member of the chamber, but new ownership, you can get a new ribbon cutting for that. Or if you've just never joined, you can be in the area for 20 years and still join the chamber and get your ribbon cutting.
And we do recommend every business, every small business owner do join the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce because of that connectivity as business owners. And you never know what's going to come up when you're on your business journey, right? You may think and you may have a great plan and you may have a great process in place, but things will still come up. Or maybe you're at a point that you think you should be sharing the knowledge you've got as a business owner and be a help and resource for other business owners. You think you've got that time and that ability these days. Also a great way to get involved. There's also other committees. Yesterday, Bill Russell showed Town Talk. He talked about the AI Summit that's upcoming. Awesome to see our local chamber stay in the forefront of these conversations. While as much as we may want to push it under the rug, like, AI will deal with it when it gets here, it's here.
Yeah,
it's here.
It's here. And you need to know about it. You need to know how to use it. You need to know how other people are using it. So great opportunity. And so that's just one of the few things, or one of the many things that the chamber offers for people to be involved with in the community. So join the chamber is a great thing. So tonight's our official ribbon cutting. We're part of the Lake Norman Chamber. So I'm thrilled to be able to do that. Thanks to Andy at Ben 110 for hosting us. Thanks to Bill Russell, all the chamber people. Thanks to the whole Lake Norman Woman Magazine team. They'll all be there tonight as well. You can meet them, talk to them, get to know them as well. And then hang out, 6:30 for Ladies' Night, and then live music starts at 8:30.
But fellas, at 6:30 out the door, let the ladies do the thing, then come back at 8:30.
No, y'all just go over in the corner.
Just go stand in the corner, fellas, nose to the wall, let the ladies do their thing, and then come back.
And then come back at 8:30, and we'll all listen to music together. So this is going to be a great time tonight, so excited to see everybody at Ben 110. You coming?
I will be there.
All right.
I'll be there during the ribbon cutting. I won't be there for Ladies' Night because, spoiler.
You're not a lady?
I have a penis. So I won't be there during the Ladies' Night. Yeah. Yesterday, President Trump brought up North Carolina again during some comments inside of the White House. As you could imagine, it was obviously in reference to Western North Carolina, in particular, just way certain dollars have been flowing and things like that, but continuing to keep North Carolina in the conversation. I don't even know if he's got to pull it because he's on the phone right now.
And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of nothing. What they've done, a hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. We catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out. But they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing. And this is just one group.
And so he's referencing Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, which she made an announcement yesterday. We'll play that in a little bit. But this concept of like kind of get back the money, that's what they're almost trying to do is. And I don't think President Biden, whether him or whoever was pulling the strings, they didn't try to hide the ball that they were going to spend all the money that they possibly could before he left the White House. They did not shy away from that.
No, that was very evident.
Whatsoever. Now, one of the ones that was interesting was EPA Secretary Zeldin, so the EPA Environmental Protection Agency. They were spending monies. That's where the climate stuff happens. Usually that's the agency where that does. He posted this video yesterday on X talking about a decently, I mean, I'm not going to say it's the most money we've ever, just given away in the world for absolutely nothing. But he was talking about a pretty sizable dollar amount here yesterday.
Hi, this is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA Administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office, and will work with the Justice Department as well. The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over. The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Sunshine peeking out this afternoon. What a sight for sore eyes. It'll get windy, though. Wind gusts around 20 to 25 miles an hour. Temperatures climb up to around 60 to finish off our Thursday. We'll get cold tonight. Temperatures drop back down to around freezing, and heading into our Friday for Valentine's Day. Sunny and cold with highs in the upper 40s to near 50. Our rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Thursday, February 13th, Lake Norman Woman Magazine is hosting Ladies' Night at Bin 110 in Cornelius. The relaxing social evening begins at 6:30 p.m. Feel free to come make new friends, get to know your neighbors in the community, and possibly catch up with pals you have not seen in a while. Bin 110 hosts Ladies' Night this Thursday, brought to you by Lake Norman Woman Magazine. The Wine Maestro in Statesville has live music with Captain Dar on Friday. Captain Dar delivers entertainment with a capital E. With his acoustic music sets, it makes a perfect addition to your Valentine's Day plans. The Wine Maestro in Statesville presents live music on Friday night at 7 p.m. Mooresville Arts and Events welcomes you to join them for a date night like no other in the ballrooms of the Charles Mack Citizen Center on Friday and Saturday. Sigmund Theatrical's Murder Mystery Crew is back with Check-In for Murder. The action will unfold around you, with some guests even becoming characters inside of the story. It's a high-class evening of dinner, theater, and mystery. Visit statesvilleevents.com for tickets and information. Enjoy the Valentine's Day special at the Speedway Club at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Come celebrate with that someone special with a 3-course dinner or something off the regular menu. The Speedway Club Valentine's Special runs Thursday, February 13th through Saturday, February 15th. Then on Sunday, you can cheer on your favorite driver during the Great American Race at the Speedway Club Daytona 500 viewing party. Visit 704-455-3216 for Speedway Club reservations, or visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Morning pep talk for Lake Norman, Statesville, with Justin, Bill, and Mamie, now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning, OKN. 8:18. Happy Thursday to you. It's a little wet out there, but I don't know if it's raining. Might be sprinkling somewhere. Probably not. Maybe it's dry, but at the same time, the ground's wet. I don't know.
Let's find out.
ICATS.com. Alternative transportation, $3 each day, each way to commute from Iredell County down to the city of Charlotte. Cruising in the HOV lane with Jeff. Good morning, sir. How are things looking?
Good morning. No accidents to report at this time, although there are several areas of heavy congestion. 77 southbound from Sanford Road down through Gilead Road, stop-and-go traffic in that area. Also, 77 southbound around LaSalle Street, stop-and-go traffic as you get into the city of Charlotte. 77 northbound around Gilead Road in Huntersville, heavy congestion in that area. Besides that, everything was looking good. The roadways are wet, so just slow down a little. And then secondary roads, Statesville, Trotman, and Mooresville, I've not heard of any issues, but like I talked about earlier, there is some ponding on the roads, on some of the side roads, so just be careful as you're out this morning.
Astute wisdom, as usual, Jeff, and
Yes.
we are grateful for it, sir. Travel safe today, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.
All right, have a great day.
You too, sir. ICATS.com. $1 from your front door on Thursdays to go to Winston-Salem, $1 to get back. $1 from your front door on Fridays to go to Hickory, $1 to get back. $1 from your front door on Tuesdays to go to the VA in Salisbury, only $1 to get back. But here's the thing, you got to schedule it. ICATS.com. Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday made an announcement. Did this hit your timeline at all or
Not
anything?
at all.
I wonder if any of this stuff did.
No, none of this. Nope.
So it has to do with
Valentine's Day only on my timeline.
has to do with New York in particular, and the type of lawsuit that now Pam Bondi has announced from the Attorney General's office toward New York and some particular players.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York.
There's a
We have filed
lawsuit
charges
now
against
from the
Kathy
Attorney
Hochul.
General's office toward a particular state, New York in this instance, where they named, obviously, the governor. They named the Attorney General, right? The people in charge of making decisions as it relates to these. And so she does make a comment later on in her speech where she says, and other states that choose to not follow executive orders will also be subject to lawsuits. And I just say that because if it happens to be that North Carolina gets named at any point in any particular lawsuits, just know it's because of certain decisions being made by certain people in charge. And how does that trickle down to us? It costs money, right? Because these different agencies and different offices, they get allocated dollars from the state budgets. And so the state dollars are going to then go toward having to defend an argument that maybe you don't agree with. And so just putting that on your radar as this progresses, it does seem like it is going to be an active thing of this executive branch to go after people not following what they're putting in these rules. At least what we're seeing on the surface right now. Although also, as we've seen, it seems like everything's negotiable with them. So at the same time, you can come to the negotiating table. Someone who seems like they're not going to be able to come to the negotiating table because they're not going to pretty much be around anymore, the Department of Education. Mentioned to you that immigration was going to be one of the first things. Seems like we're heading our way toward Department of Education. Doge definitely has their hands as far as inside and seeing where the dollars have been going. President Trump yesterday had comments on the Department of Education and the strategy he thinks that'll work best.
It's a big con job. We're ranked, so they rank the top 40 countries in the world. We're ranked number 40th. But we're ranked number one in one department, costs per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, but we're ranked number 40. We've been between 38 and 40. The last time I looked, it was 38, and then I looked 2 days ago, it came out the new list. It came out at number 40, so we're ranked 40. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, I hate to say it, China, as big as it is, it's ranked in the top 5. And that's a primary competitor. We're ranked number 40. So if we're ranked number 40, that means something's really wrong, right? And I say send it back to Iowa, to Idaho, to Colorado. Send it back to places that, and there are a lot of Indiana. You have a great new governor. You have a great senator that Jim Banks just got elected. You got great people. I'll tell you what, Indiana is going to be fantastic. We probably have 35, maybe 37 states that will do as well as Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden. They'll be just as good. Then you have the ones that we all know about. It'll be the same story. But you know what? Even they will be good. Because you look at New York, you give it to Westchester County, you give it to Long Island, you give it to Nassau County, you give it to Suffolk County. Same thing you go out to, and you give it to upstate New York. So you'd have 4 or 5 sections. You give it to Manhattan. Manhattan's a little bit tougher for some reason. I don't know why it would be tougher, but it is. You give to California, and you go to various areas outside of Los Angeles, and you might have 6 or 7 different subgroups. But generally, like if you go to Iowa, you give it to Iowa. You don't have subgroups, you have Iowa. And other places that do a good job. If they do a good job, they're going to do a great job in education.
So as far as dollars incoming to state North Carolina, again, I'm not super familiar with currently in our system, do dollars all flow from one spot? Do they come in kind of from multiple, or who's in decision-making of this, of when the dollars come in from the federal side? that certainly is going to be a conversation. Whatever the current rule is, who knows what's going to change or what could change, right?
Yeah.
And so something to just keep in mind as far as education goes. Are we ready to manage it, though, is really what I come back to.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, if there is no Department of Education, and not saying that they did the best job ever, but, like, who's going to manage the money and how does that get – it just all goes back to the states, and each state manages its own money. How do they decide how much each state gets?
Because we know all the counties and all the school systems across North Carolina all get along famously.
Oh, great.
And
yeah,
so
they get along great.
Real
yeah.
easy to just decide, right? That's going to be cool.
Yeah, so I don't know how that would work and who makes those choices. So,
but it's putting the onus back on the states to actually take,
Do you think that should all go back? I mean, do you think everything should go to the state and nothing should be decided on the federal level?
So something this is a kind of more of a constitutional debate. There is no right to education at the federal level.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right to an education. North Carolina Constitution has a right to education. So we have to provide people, in essence, right? The constitutional argument is, well, no, if you're in North Carolina, you have to be provided the right to an education.
Right.
And so if we're going to have that as in our Constitution, you would think we would put it at a pretty high priority. And I'm not saying we don't currently, right? But the way the system is designed now, okay, it's great to get a bunch of dollars in, but are we really prepared to manage those dollars in that way?
Right. And who's in charge of managing those dollars for the whole state? Or
there's
how much each county gets? Or, that could cause all kinds of arguments.
Well, North Carolina superintendent's an elected position. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the governor's an elected position. State legislators are elected position. And imagine there's going to be a little bit of everybody touching it in some way, shape, or form to make the world go round. And so, again, but this is all just conjecture until the federal government says, okay, here's $45 billion this year. Go ahead and
for
go
your
play.
Whole state.
Yeah, for your state and education. Go play with it. And so what does that look like, right?
I know. So, just brave new world ahead of us.
No doubt. And something cool, though. Have you ever done the White House tour before? Have you ever gone?
I've never even been to Washington, D.C.
You've never been to D.C.?
No, I need to go.
That's okay. I've never been to Texas. So I've been to D.C., and I've done the White House tour. So this was 2018, before Noah was born. We wanted to go to D.C. and just check it out and say, hey, what's all the hype about? So we had gone up there. And how you have to do is you have to call your representative.
Yes.
And it's free, but you just have to get on the schedule.
On the list.
It's through your representatives, your federal representatives is how you get in. So you can call your senator, you can call your congressional congressperson in general, and they can get you in the whatever days and times work that are available. And it is a cool concept to walk through. So I've walked through the White House before, and
cool?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Sad
Take
part.
a nap in Lincoln's bedroom?
No. I almost took a nap next to John McCain because he was lying in state inside the Capitol, and I almost just pulled up a pillow and laid right there next to him. But I didn't. So that happened right as literally the same weekend that we were planning to go up there, and so we ended up being able to do the little train.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool from across the street. Like there's an underground train kind of a thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so we ended up in the rotunda there. And but I would encourage you, if you're interested in just seeing and learning more, you can do that.
I didn't. So they are reopening the White House public tours beginning February 25th. I didn't know they had closed them. Do you know how long they'd been closed?
I'd probably guess the past 4 years.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Just 4?
Yeah, just 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my guess. But yeah, so they're opening back up, and yeah, I really encourage you if you're ever interested. It's just cool to be able to walk through to walk.
I would like
to.
Yeah, I think that'd be very, very cool.
And the fact that it is a public place for you to be able to do that, because you do elect the people, right? They work for that work for us. So.
Right. The people choose who.
Yeah, the people are the people who
lives
are
and
the
work in that house.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
Yeah.
You know some other great people? Graystone Lodge. They're fantastic. Gray.
You can walk through there anytime, too.
Anytime you want. It's magnificent. And especially during Christmas time when they have the beautiful Christmas tree set up there, too. Springtime, right? They get all the beautiful, you see all the florals going on, all the tree growth around and all the vegetation. It's just a beautiful place to be. Gray, GraysstoneLodge.com. We're going to chat with Katie Jo next, get our High Country Happening segment going on. Also, we're going to try to figure out what's going on in these markets. Joshua Dobi, host of Dollars and Cents, president and CEO of North Main Financial Group. He's a certified financial planner. He's going to give us the insight. What should we be following? Should we trade on Charles Schwab at 2 a.m.? Just dump the portfolio. No, he probably would advise against that.
Probably not.
He's probably a little more poised than I am in the middle of the night, if I had to guess.
We'll have more Good Morning LKN coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our rain finally moving out. Sunshine peeking out this afternoon. What a sight for sore eyes. It'll get windy, though. Wind gusts around 20 to 25 miles an hour. Temperatures climb up to around 60 to finish off our Thursday. We'll get cold tonight. Temperatures drop back down to around freezing. And heading into our Friday for Valentine's Day. Sunny and cold with highs in the upper 40s to near 50. Our rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Nothing says wow like a gift from Harrison's. Get what they want and what they need thanks to our huge selection of work staples and Western favorites from Ariat, Carhartt, Wrangler, and more. And there's nothing merrier than a new pair of boots from Harrison's. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
Pizza night just got an upgrade. Stop by Pomodoro's for fresh, authentic Italian eats that hit the spot every time. Dine in or take out because good food is always a good idea. Check out Pomodoros.com for details.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Lowry Drug is a source for excellent pharmacy services. We have served the Statesville community since 1959. We have attentive customer service, a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory, and the Dispill medication packaging system that takes the work out of medication management for those using medication planners. We do it for you. Come see us at Lowry Drug in Statesville. Call 704-873-2247. Come see us.
Who is this? This is 105.9, 100.7.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's officially off. Honda and Nissan formally ended talks to combine, bringing a quick end to a partnership that in theory would have created one of the world's biggest automakers. The two companies said they will continue their strategic partnership with Mitsubishi and collaborate. The consequences of a failed tie-up are likely to be pivotal for all three, but especially Nissan. The struggling company will now have to look elsewhere for a lifeline. The French-Italian company that makes Ray-Ban sunglasses posted strong quarterly sales. One thing boosting EssilorLuxottica is the recovery of its Sunglass Hut division in North America. Meanwhile, the company said it has sold 2 million pairs of Ray-Ban Meta glasses since the launch in 2023, and MedTech is also front and center for the group's future strategy. Stocks were mostly lower in yesterday's trading. The Dow fell 225, the S&P slipped 17, the Nasdaq was essentially little changed. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Home of the best talk.
WSIC. Local starts here.
Want to talk with Justin, Bill, or Mamie? Give them a call now at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Good KN on WSIC.
Country happenings in Boone's embrace. Graystone Lodge with its gentle grace. Concierge level service so fine in the heart of mountains where trees align.
Good morning, LKN. 8:34, one of our favorite times of the week, High Country Happenings, where we get a look inside Boone, North Carolina, and across the entire High Country area. We're joined by Katie Jo of Graystone Lodge, Gray, GraystonLodge.com, a beautiful boutique hotel located in Boone, North Carolina, right there on 105, conveniently located so you can enjoy all of the High Country. Katie Jo, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
It was raining the past couple of days.
Yes.
It has now subsided quite substantially. Did you guys get rain up there in the high country?
We did, yes, of course we did. You know, the weather up here, you never really know what's going to happen in Boone.
I know we had fake spring a couple days. I think last week we talked to you, it was a little fake spring, and now winter's come back. We knew it would, though.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, Valentine's Day is, spoiler, Katie Joe, tomorrow, and Graystone Lodge is taking care of folks. Not only did we give away a 2-night stay, but those who missed out on that, they have the opportunity to get a romance package from Graystone Lodge. Fill us in on the details. What do people get in the romance package?
Yeah, of course, if you're still planning on doing something for Valentine's Day and staying at the Graystone Lodge and you are need something a little last minute to do, we can do everything for you. So we have a romance package that it's actually all month long. So, you know, we don't just celebrate love just on Valentine's Day. So if you want to come up with that special someone, not just tomorrow, you can do $130, which includes a dozen roses, an 8-count box of Venture chocolate bonbons, and a bottle of wine from Grandfather Vineyard and Winery, which are 3 of our, you know, wonderful partnerships there at the Graystone.
Now, Katie, you've known me now for probably about a year. I'm super organized, and you know that I'm not the one buying the flowers at the last minutes. But I'm pretty sure a dozen roses is $130 in general.
It is,
today
just
forward.
on its own, yeah.
So it sounds almost like a deal too good to be true. But let me ask you this, and here's the kicker: is the breakfast still there?
Yes, the breakfast is also still there. So of course, you know, you'll buy your romance package, and then you'll have a nice breakfast together in our lobby with a high country breakfast. We've always got lots to choose from, including Stick Boy bagels and pastries, and coffee from Hatchet Coffee, another wonderful local partnership.
And then how about that indoor pool right now, Katie Joe? Is that thing up and running?
Oh yeah, it's very popular right now, especially in the wintertime.
It's one thing because I went to Appalachian State, right? I've been to the high country. I know some of the things. And there's a lot of people that haven't, but there's also a lot of people that haven't been to the high country yet. And maybe they want to learn more. Graystone Lodge, Gray, GraysstoneLodge.com. You guys have a wonderful blog on your website. And I see here a brand new post, 6 calming experiences in Boone you need to try. Can you walk us through what would you say are the 6 things that people need to try if they come to Boone, North Carolina?
Yeah, of course. You know, I always talk about how I like to be prepared for a trip. And one thing that we do at the Graystone to help you with that is have our blog with a bunch of different itineraries and suggestions for your trip, depending on what you're in the mood for. So if you want to relax and unwind, we've got a lot of different things on this blog post. We've got, of course, you know, we've got a lot of nature up here in the mountains. So there's all these different ideas where you can stroll along the Greenway Trail, explore Moses Cone Memorial Park, a picnic at Price Lake, and then the best places to catch the sunset and things like that. So, of course, you know, you're always wanting to be in nature up here. And then there's always yoga at the Art of Living Retreat Center as well, which is a really wonderful location. I've been up there multiple times, and it's just so beautiful and so serene up there. So catch a yoga class while you're up here. And then the Blowing Rock Art and History Museum isn't just about art. So they actually have a mindfulness meditation group there where locals and visitors can come together for guided sessions. So if you're downtown Blowing Rock and you want to have a little bit of meditation while you're up here, check that out. And then, you know, always, we've talked about this many times, you can get an in-room massage at the Graystone from Luminous Spa as well.
You don't even have to leave. That's
you don't even have to
phenomenal.
leave.
I do want to go back. So the nature's therapy, right? Because the outdoors in Boone, North Carolina, just phenomenal, right? In a lot of ways, unmatched across the entire country. You mentioned Price Lake. I mean, it's cool. Like, we live in a lake community right here at Lake Norman, but when you take a lake in the mountains and you get that mountain serene, you know what I mean? Like, when you see those pictures of, like, Norway and all that kind of stuff on your timeline, that's, like, the vibe you can get just locally by going to Boone, North Carolina.
Oh, great hikes, great, you know, walking. You've got so many opportunities just to enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, of course. I love Price Lake. It's such a, like, you just drive up to it and it's on the parkway and it's just breathtaking, you know. It's a large loop that you can go, and I think they also do canoeing and stuff like that on Price Lake. And I think we've talked about how they do some night canoeing as well during the summertime, and it's just beautiful out there.
One thing, Katie Jo, and this isn't just because when I wake up, normally there's a 3 in front, but I drink some coffee sometimes. How about coffee, the coffee shops, wineries? Is any of that going on in Boone?
Of course, we've got so many wonderful local coffee shops. Of course, we always like to talk about Hatchet Coffee. So they have our own Graystone Grounds coffee that we serve at the Graystone. And then if you're downtown, you've got Espresso News, which is a local favorite, and they've got an upstairs where you can sit and just kind of enjoy your cup of coffee up there. And then, of course, Venture Wine and Chocolate. So you can have their bonbons with the rich espresso, and they have fine wine as well. So you can pick one or the other if you go to Venture Wine and Chocolates. And then, of course, for the wine side, another one of our most recent partnerships is with Grandfather Vineyard and Winery. So we have their wine located in the Graystone now, and of course, we always like to tell people to go out there and support them. They did have a little bit of damage from Hurricane Helene, but they're back open and they're ready for visitors.
I see here on the list as well, and I haven't done this yet, but I see the 180 float spa.
Yes, I actually have never experienced this, but I know people that have, and they say it's kind of like life changing. You just feel like you're quite literally floating, and you're just there's nothing but just you sitting there in the pod floating, and it's just a really relaxing experience. So they have float therapy, they have infrared saunas, and they have massages there as well.
And that's one of the local partners. How much emphasis do you guys have with partnering with those local businesses, and how does that benefit those who stay at Graystone Lodge?
Yeah, so we have a very extensive partnership program at the Graystone, and all you have to do for most places is just show your key card, and you'll get around 10% off of your purchase at the partnership location. And it's just something we love to do to show our guests that we are, enriched in those local businesses, and we care about local businesses and want our guests to experience what it's like to live like a local, because a lot of these places I go to on a regular basis, and I just want to be able to share that with our guests so they have the best high country experience they can have. And that's kind of what it's all about.
It's kind of that great in-between time almost, because it's cold out a little bit, but then at the same time you can find certainly ways to stay warm right throughout your day at Graystone Lodge and throughout the high country. But the ski mountains, are the ski mountains still open right now, Katie Jo?
They are still open. They usually close, in March, but right now they're still open. A couple of weeks ago we had Talia Freeman from Beach Mountain on, and, they do things year round at all of these locations, on top of Beach Mountain and Sugar. They've got other things besides skiing and snowboarding. They have golf. They've got all these different activities, and Beach Mountain has their summer concert series. So it's really just a fun time to come up whenever to go to those mountains, whether you're here during the winter or in the summer.
You live that après ski life all year long.
Oh, yeah.
You and me, Katie Jo. That's what we do.
I love the idea of being able to get a getaway with the Schnuckeludums. That's just I don't know, made up pet name right there. That was pretty good. I'm testing them out. See how they go. I don't know if the ladies will like that one or not. The other option is when you bring the family up, right? Because you can always bring the fam up to Graystone Lodge. Katie Jo, the types of rooms you guys have, could you accommodate a family of, let's say, 12 up there at Graystone Lodge?
Of course, so I'm your main point of contact if you want to book a group reservation, and I can give you a good discount if you want to come with your whole family. And, we can get you into some adjoining rooms as well, which is always fun, where you can have that door in between the rooms. You don't even have to walk in the hallway. And, we love to have our groups there at the Graystone. We've got so many amenities that they can enjoy together, like the fire pit outside. They can all eat breakfast together and hang out at the pool. And, of course, go to any of our local partnerships as well.
I imagine everyone's either got that cousin or that uncle, and it's definitely the dudes of the family that forget the shampoo or conditioner. Do you guys do like the little bottles, you know what I mean? Like the complimentary inside the shower and all that in case I forget my stuff at home?
We do. So in the shower, we actually have bulk amenities from Beekman 1802 products. So they're goat milk products, which are really wonderful. So we do have those already in the room for you.
Wow.
Perfect. Graystone Lodge,
Fantastic.
GRAY, GraystonLodge.com. Katie Jo, thank you for joining us for another week of High Country happenings. Looking forward to checking in with you next week. Just let everybody know there in the High Country, we're still thinking about them. We love them. Grateful to see some movement and all the help that we can keep trying to get poured into Western North Carolina. But the businesses are open, and it's the opportunity for people to go up and have a great time. Katie Jo, we'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
high country nights and the fire's burning warm. Graystone Lodge welcomes all who come round the door. Concierge service, they know what you need. In Boone you'll find peace, let your worries recede. If I were a poet, I'd pen you a verse. In these mountains so grand, life's troubles disperse.
Temperatures drop back down to around freezing and heading into our Friday for Valentine's Day. Sunny and cold with highs in the upper 40s to near 50. Our rain comes back for the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Thursday, February 13th, Lake Norman Woman Magazine is hosting Ladies' Night at Bin 110 in Cornelius. The relaxing social evening begins at 6:30 p.m. Feel free to come make new friends, get to know your neighbors in the community, and possibly catch up with pals you have not seen in a while. Bin 110 hosts Ladies' Night this Thursday, brought to you by Lake Norman Woman Magazine. The Wine Maestro in Statesville has live music with Captain Dar on Friday. Captain Dar delivers entertainment with a capital E. With his acoustic music sets, it makes a perfect addition to your Valentine's Day plans. The Wine Maestro in Statesville presents live music on Friday night at 7 p.m. Mooresville Arts and Events welcomes you to join them for a date night like no other in the ballrooms of the Charles Mack Citizen Center on Friday and Saturday. Sigmund Theatrical's Murder Mystery Crew is back with Check-In for Murder. The action will unfold around you, with some guests even becoming characters inside of the story. It's a high-class evening of dinner, theater, and mystery. Visit statesvilleevents.com for tickets and information. Enjoy the Valentine's Day special at the Speedway Club at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Come celebrate with that someone special with a 3-course dinner or something off the regular menu. The Speedway Club Valentine's Special runs Thursday, February 13th through Saturday, February 15th. Then on Sunday, you can cheer on your favorite driver during the Great American Race at the Speedway Club Daytona 500 viewing party. Visit 704-455-3216 for Speedway Club reservations or visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, the Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Flores, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, the Warren Treaty, the Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Now, back to more of Good Morning LKN with Justin, Bill, and Mamie on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning, LKN. 8:48. Happy Thursday to you. Mames is starting her collection of pennies already. She's got it going. We don't know if that's necessarily the right move because at this point, is it pennies or nickels? You think?
I don't know. Which way? Which way should I invest in? My pennies or my nickels?
We need to ask Joshua Dobi, host of Dollars and Cents and president CEO of North Main Financial Group, who joins us in the studio right now. Okay, would you make the bet on pennies or nickels in the future? What do you think?
Well, first of all, great to be with you. Thanks for having me here and for asking an impossible question. Literally to start out.
I almost had him this time. I almost.
Because this is not, of course, investment advice. Nor should I say that you had invested. But it is an interesting phenomenon. And when you look at just where we've moved from an economic standpoint, I mean, try to think quickly of a place where you use pennies anymore. It is a viable conversation. I mean, back when we had penny candy or the kinds of things you could walk into a convenience store or 7-Eleven and you could pay pennies or use pennies. Now we just are in a space where that is far less frequent, and in some areas, as you know, we're even cashless. Like some don't use currency at all. So it's a viable conversation. Should we stop it all together? There are people a lot smarter than me probably should decide.
Pennies, I thought, were purely for the little jar that sits there at the checkout where you take it,
give one, take one,
and then you get the whole dollar back rather than having to get the 99 cents back. I thought that's how it works.
It's a big deal, and I guess if we were using more dollar bills, maybe that would be the case, or we were using more change. But there just aren't as many things or not as many transactions, rather, where folks are actually using currency. I mean, there are tons of folks, especially in the underage 40 crowd, there are tons of folks who never use cash.
Oh, yeah. I would say my daughter does not. Like, she went to the Renaissance Festival, and it was a cash only, and every single one in their group only had their phones. I mean, they didn't even have a debit card with them. They only had their phones with their Cash
Apple
Apps
Pay,
on.
right? Cash Apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In addition to being a radio superstar here every Thursday
that's
from
true.
4 to 5, what Joshua Dobi does Monday through Friday, probably Monday through Sunday, if I'm being honest, because he loves what he does. He helps people strategize on their investments, sits down, looks at estate strategy, your individual portfolio, really helps you hone in on what's your goals and how can you get a strategy that best match that. Is this launch of like crypto and this kind of grab for it, is it the dollars, or is it more people are bored with the existing investment products and just want the shiny new object? Which way do you think it goes?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a terrible answer to start. I think the answer is yes, to exact everything that you said, and probably a couple of other factors involved as well. There has been, I think, for some time, a desire for, meaning within the market, to have an alternative to, let's call it the normal course of financial transactions. Mamie, you just mentioned about, literally younger persons having their transaction possibilities on their phone. So there's definitely a market for that kind of thing. And of course, there are a number of companies, Apple being dominant among them, that do that. But I think also when you're talking about cryptocurrency, there's a desire to transact or to move value from one person to another or one entity to another in some way that doesn't involve the traditional currency. And I think that's one of the reasons, in addition to what you mentioned, Justin, that we're seeing that kind of movement. And as long as that market continues not only to exist, but to grow, you're going to see companies invest in it. You're going to see companies that want to be a participant in it. And I think that's what we're seeing specifically with cryptocurrency right now.
You say invest, and the word that comes to mind, and this is me, having a top-notch financial education thanks to you, CapEx, that seems to be a term that a lot of companies, at least in the past week, started using. What is CapEx and what the heck is going on with it?
Absolutely. So CapEx is a shorthand way of describing the phrase or the term capital expenditure. Capital expenditure, generally speaking, without getting too granular on it, are where companies set aside capital to make larger than normal, sometimes one-time expenses. That's as opposed to paying the electric bill, which comes every month, or paying salaries for employees, which come every week or every month. Those are recurring expenses. But capital expenditure tend to be more one-time kinds of events, and they tend to be larger figures. Think about something like buying a new software system. You don't tend to do that every day, every year. Think about something like buying a new office building for your firm. You're not doing that every day, every year. Generally, or buying equipment. So you're doing that on a less frequent basis. So those are the kinds of things that tend to get lumped into capital expenditure. And then specifically when we're talking about, and maybe I'll give you the segue here, when we're talking about AI kinds of things, that's where we're seeing voluminous amounts of capital expenditure, which, gosh, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, wasn't on anybody's balance sheet.
You got Meta, you got Microsoft, you got Google. You got, I don't even know, is OpenAI even ever? I don't even know what status
are they profit,
they're
non-for-profit?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
They're their own thing, right?
So everyone's putting money into AI, and what is it? Is it a shot in the dark, you think, to be like first one? Is that what the hype kind of is behind it?
No doubt about it. I think the clearest indication of that, as we were talking there during the break, the clearest indication of that is to see literally the real dollars that are being spent by those large companies that you mentioned on a quarterly and annual basis. We're not talking billions. We're not talking tens of billions. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars from these companies in real time, meaning it's happening right now. That's the clearest indication about how serious they are. It's one thing to give lip service to it and say this is important or this is where we see the market going. There's no substitute for when companies actually move those kind of capital expenditures in that fast of a motion. This isn't over years. We're talking months that they're doing this.
Something I consistently hear you say on Dollars and Cents every Thursday from 4 to 5 is the long game strategy of investing. And it's about building a portfolio over time and being smart and being strategic. Do you find that kind of incremental building blocks just tends to be the most successful path over the long term? Is that the reason why you've stuck with that?
No doubt about it. And the reason why I like that kind of thought process so much is because it can literally apply to everybody. It really isn't a function of how many dollars you're talking about. If you're talking about $10 or $10 million, that incremental way of thinking tends to give you the largest possibility of success. Because even though we think in straight lines, markets don't move in straight lines. But we do our planning sometimes in straight lines. We think, okay, if I start here, add this every single month, and I end up here. Well, yes, except it's not going to be a straight line. You're going to have your peaks and your valleys, and you're going to have a whole lot of time in between. So if you do that consistent incremental thought process and do it whether the market's up, the market's down, when things are going well for you financially, maybe not going as well for you financially, if you can stick to that discipline, that tends to give you the largest possibilities for success.
See, and if you've got Joshua Dobi as your certified financial planner, you probably have his phone number to where you can call him in the middle of the night and say, Charles Schwab just announced 24-hour trading, Joshua. Put the portfolio in there. How much of your time is dealt with just like educating people, calming them down probably to an extent because of this up and down market, especially when we're talking about changing of political parties and all the laws? All that's kind of changing. How much of your day is spent on that?
Huge amount of it. Actually, you can make an argument that at some level, every single interaction I have has some element of that associated with it in this day and age. And you touched on the Schwab announcement, which is somewhat new, but it's also been around. Mamie, I think you were talking about it even a couple of days ago with Robinhood. They're also in that mix of things with the 24-hour trading. It has made, for folks in my kind of position, it is 24/7, and sometimes I draw the comparison point to mutual funds, which about 50 years ago, well maybe 60 years ago now, they were priced in terms of their price per share one time per year. Now we have things that are priced by the millisecond, so it's such a different universe. It is 24/7, and that's the way in which we're going. So it does make, for my kind of position, folks do have that expectation. If it's a holiday or they're sitting on their weekend or watching the Super Bowl, say kind of thing. Now we have time to think about it. So what do you think about this? Well, I think it's kind of interesting to see Monday.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing with us, because you spend the time educating yourself too, right? You get educated before you can educate somebody else.
Right.
What are some of the things that you look for, like when you're trying to educate? You share your kind of high level brain and what you're doing on the inside to gain knowledge ultimately for your clients.
Absolutely. One of the more challenging things from an internal back office standpoint with which we deal right now is sifting through the voluminous amounts of data for things that actually matter. That's a significant portion of my day. And I'll just tell you right off the top, 95% of it is noise. It truly is. And then you have to sift out the political tint that's out there as well. You have to sift out the economic biases that are out there to really get to data which is actually helpful, not only for me, but then, as you mentioned, Justin, to then share. That's meaningful, and then to be able to make prudent decisions on it. Most of what you hear, unfortunately, has very little value. Most of it is being displayed, or it's being pushed to create some kind of response. I mean, let's call it what it is. If you would watch business news all day, every day, I hope, it would be incredibly boring for you. So they've got to do something to keep your attention. So they razzle dazzle this and they sparkle that, and so you got to eliminate all of that and actually get to stuff that matters.
We're in an interesting part of the timeline of the world right now, the generational shift, and you and I have talked about this a couple of times. Working with people on their estate and strategizing that almost seems like an extra layer of complicatedness, because maybe Susie and Johnny aren't necessarily on the same page with what mom and dad are doing with so how does all that balance together when you're talking about multi-generation family financial strategizing?
Challenging dynamics there, because every family is different. And again, it's not a function of net worth or dollars. Every single family has their own dynamics. We all know that associated with it. And especially with older generations, and I'm stereotyping here a little bit, there was reticence and sometimes just complete avoidance of having those kinds of conversations with the next generation. And that doesn't make them bad or wrong. It's just that was the style. There's a shift where there's more discussion, generally speaking, between the generations now, but it's not all the way there. So it's hard. And sometimes if folks don't want to have those kinds of conversations, planning is pretty limited in terms of what you can do. It's more of a surprise to Johnny and Sally whenever mom and dad pass away. And then there are some other dynamics involved with that, because there's only so much you can do at that point. So we do a lot of educating. We just let folks know, here are the ramifications for the decisions that you make. If you're okay with that, then let's put it down on paper. And even if you don't want to tell Johnny and Sally, let's make sure that at least the pathways are set up for what you would like to see happen.
As president of North Main Financial Group and certified financial planner, the concept of just stocks versus other type of investment, do you only do one kind, or is it kind of like, hey, it truly is customized based on the individual?
Has to be customized based on the individual. Cookie cutter or just template style investing, you run a lot of risk because everybody's situation is so incredibly different. That doesn't mean that folks who do that are wrong. I understand that there are a lot of those kinds of things out there. We just believe at North Main that because everybody's space is different, it's incumbent upon us. That's why you come to us, to customize it. It's not true that investment A is good for everybody just because investment A we think is a, quote, good investment.
Joshua Dobi, host of Dollars and Cents, president of North Main Financial Group. He's a certified financial planner right here in Cornelius. Reach out to northmainfinancial.com is the website. 4 to 5 p.m. You can hear him every single week. Catch him on demand anytime, wherever you watch your videos, wherever you listen to your podcast, and always the WSIC News app, available on iOS and Google Play. Joshua, thanks for coming in this morning.
Great to be with you. Happy Thursday.
Get your pennies, baby!
Serving you better than ever before.